I'm Chris Murdock. I'm the founder and chief sourcing officer at IQ Talent. If you don't adopt it, you won't have a job. Everyone's really worried about AI, replacing recruiters. AI-enabled recruiters are going to replace those that aren't leveraging AI. Everybody always says, "Oh, my technology is going to replace recruiters." No, it's going to augment. We're going to all be bionic, people. We're going to be leveraging technology day in, day out to solve our problems. But now the technology is actually going to get rid of a lot of the tasky stuff that most recruiters and sourcers don't like to do. But when you've got the software doing that, it means I get to spend more time with my candidates. It means I get to spend more time understanding my clients or my hiring managers, whether I'm inside a company or at an agency. AI is going to let me be more human, if that makes any sense. When your team is working in 5 systems or 3 systems, you lose a lot of efficiency. And so, there's if one system goes down, it impacts the ability to do anything else. And so before we moved to the hireEZ CRM, we had hireEZ as the sourcing tool. We had IQ Recruit as the CRM. We had a time tracking software, but now it's kind of all in one place. The team doesn't have to jump from system to system. They don't have to, worry about, leaving the page. They don't have to worry about having different software to leverage. Having everything in one place allows the team to be that much more efficient. 5-10 minutes is and every hour is a lot, and it adds up over time, and it means they get to spend more time doing what they love, which is finding and engaging, interested and qualified talent. Leaders should be listening to their employees when it comes to technology. So if a leader hears from a vendor, "Oh, we got to use this tool. You should use this tool," but they're not talking to the team and not listening to the team, we had almost made that mistake. As leaders, we thought this one tool was great because we had, they seemed to really understand our business case. But hireEZ understood my sourcers. They understood my recruiters. The other tool didn't. And so we made a business decision to move with the other tool, and then our team revolted in a very polite way, doing presentations, and then they actually started marketing among the team that hadn't quite adopted hireEZ. So before you knew it, we were actually expanding our relationship with hireEZ, and we turned off the other 2 tools because they weren't cost effective. They were too expensive, predatory. Another one wasn't very flexible in adapting the tool to us. And that's one of the reasons why we are now powered 100% by hireEZ. When it came to personalization and customizing, you had to read every LinkedIn profile. And you had to understand who each person was before you could customize the message. And also sometimes to the detriment of sourcing quality candidates and creating a good candidate experience. Steve Levy and I, for example, decided to put, "I am not a C++ engineer. I am not a NoSQL developer." And we put at that time, all the hot acronyms, we put that we are not. The amount of spam emails we got saying, "Oh, I see that you're a software engineer with NoSQL experience." They weren't taking the time to actually understand who we were. They weren't taking that time. And so just imagine how many sourcers were just getting lazy when it came to customizing and personalizing the messaging to each person. When you take that time to actually read someone's profile, it just makes them feel like you understand who they are, what they want, but you can't do that at scale. AI has been enabling us to do that. It reads the profile. It understands, who the person is and what their details are. But at the same time, you have to trust but verify. You have to make sure it's not lying, it's not hallucinating. And so when you send the message, it's customized. One of the best experiences we ever had was a whole campaign had been done by our clients in a competitor's product. The response rate was in the single digits. We then took on the project for a role that had been open for a year, and we got it filled in less than 4 weeks because we leveraged the tools. It was customizing messages. It understood the tool, hireEZ, understood what was needed, not just from a skill standpoint, but it also understood, it helped the candidates feel like they were understood. And we were able to get a very mission critical role like filled very quickly because of the tools, because of the customization, because of the personalization. When it comes to adopting AI in recruiting and sourcing, there's a lot of fluff. There's a lot of like esoteric, philosophical things about it. It has to be easily applied and integrated into a process. And so if you're just saying, go use this tool for the sake of using that tool, it's not going to work. It won't get adopted into the process. It's just going to sit in a server, or it's going to just be a line item until the contract expires. The tools can't just. What hireEZ was 2 years ago is not what they are today. If the tools aren't, if I as a person, if I as a recruiter, if I as a sourcer, if I don't adapt to the tools, if I don't adapt to the new technologies, I'm not going to be an effective recruiter. I'm going to be outpaced by those that are. The tools are the same. The platforms need to be doing the same. They have to adapt. They have to incorporate new technologies. And the Agentic AI is just another example of how hireEZ has adapted itself to the current technology. They did it really quick. And so my team will be able to incorporate, all the new things very quickly. It's going to enhance the quality of the sourcing. It's going to enhance their relationships with the candidates. It's going to enhance their relationships with the hiring managers and the clients. It's going to make their lives easier, make us stickier with our clients, and we're going to be able to, persist with our clients.